ऐसे भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की कलियुग पावन श्री नाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to Srimad devotees, all glories to Srimad devotees, all glories to Srimad devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavad sevaya bhagavati uttamaślokhe bhaktir bhavati naishtiki krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nandagopakumaraya govindaya namo namaha. Hare Krishna, we are reading from Śrimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 29, titled Explanation of Devotional Service, text number 10. Karma nirharam uddishya parasmin vadadarpanam yajetyashtavyamiti va पृथक् भाव सात्विकः कर्म निर्हारम् उद्दिश्य परस्मिन् वाददर्पणम् यजेत्यष्टव्यमिति वा पृथक् भाव सात्विकः कर्म निर्हारम् उद्दिश्य यजेत्यष्टव्यमिति वा पृथग्भावः सात्विकः
कर्मनिहारमुद्दिश्य
परस्मिन् वाददर्पणम् यजेत्यष्टव्यमिति वा पृथग्भावः सात्विकः कर्मनिर्हारमुद्दिश्य परस्मिन् वाददर्पणम् यजेत्यष्टव्यमिति वा पृथग्भावः सात्विकः
कर्मनिर्हारम् उद्दिश्य परस्मिन् वा तदर्पणम् यजेत्यष्टव्यम् इति वा पृथग्भावः स सात्विकः कर्मनिर्हारम् उद्दिश्य परस्मिन् वा तदर्पणम् यजेत्यष्टव्यम् इति वा पृथग्भावः स सात्विकः।
Word to word. Karma, fruitive activities. Nirharam, freeing himself from Uddishya with the purpose of Parasmin to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Or Tat Arpanam, offering the result of activities. Yaje, may worship. Yashtvavyam, to be worshipped. Iti, thus. Va, or. Prithak Bhāgava, separatist. Saha, he. Satvikaha, in the mode of goodness. Translation: when a devotee worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offers the result of his activities in order to free himself from the improprieties of fruitive activities, his devotion is in the mode of goodness. Prabhupada's purport, Shri the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, along with the Brahmacharis, Grihasthas, Vanaprasthas and Sannyasis, are the members of the 8 divisions of Varnas and Ashramas. And they have their respective duties to perform for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When such activities are performed and the results are offered to the Supreme Lord, they are called Karmānupanam. Duties performed for the satisfaction of the Lord. If there is any inebriety or fault, it is atoned for by this offering process. But if this offering process is in the mode of goodness rather than pure devotion, then the interest is different. The 4 ashramas and the 4 varnas act for some benefit in accordance with their personal interests. Therefore, such activities are in the mode of goodness. They cannot be counted in the category of pure devotion. Pure devotional service, as described by Rupa Goswami, is free from material desires. Anya vilashna shunyam, there can be no excuse for personal or material interest. You can read that again. There can be no excuse for personal or material interest. Devotional activities should be transcendental to fruitive activities and empiric philosophical speculation. Pure devotional service is transcendental to all material qualities. Devotional service in the mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness can be divided into 81 categories. There are different devotional activities such as hearing, chanting, reading, worshipping, offering, praying, rendering service, and serving everything, and each of them can be divided into 3 qualitative categories. There is hearing in the mode of passion, in the mode of goodness, ignorance, and the mode of goodness. Similarly, there is chanting in the mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness, etc. 3 multiplied by 9 equals 27, and then again multiplied by 3, it becomes 81. One has to transcend all such mixed materialistic devotional service in order to reach the standard of pure devotional service as explained in the next verses. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjanashlakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschadya Deshakarine Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome all of you to our morning Bhagavatam class. I would like to seek the blessings of all the other devotees before we start discussing Bhagavatam. So we see in this section, Kapila is explaining more about devotional service, and therefore the topic is entitled Explanation of Devotional So now he explains to Mother Devabhuti the three categories of devotional service, and of course, in text 11 and 12. Madguna Shruti Matrena Mai Sarva Guhashraye Manogadira Vichinna Yata Ganga Vasombudo Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya Yudharitam Aitukiya Vyavahita Ya Bhakti Purushottame. The manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is residing in everyone's heart. Just as water of the Ganges flows naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material condition, flows towards the Supreme God. So, text 11 will explain about pure devotional service. And whereas till date, last three verses are explaining about devotional service in the mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. So if you look at the words, the first thing it says is karma nirhara uddeshya. So before I begin, first of all, you have to understand this is not to make our practice of devotional service even more difficult. Like what devotee was saying, then why is it, I was thinking we just chant Hare Krishna and be happy. That is our process. But now we find Kapila Muni is actually narrowing down on pure devotional service, and it seems that it takes more effort. It's not as simple as chant Hare Krishna and be happy, because you have to be careful about practicing devotional service in pure devotion. Non-devotional service doesn't mean just devotional service. Not all kinds of devotional service are acceptable. There is standard of pure devotion, as Prabhupada says in the Quran. And the standard of pure devotion or devotional services, devotional service performed in the platform of pure devotion. So, sometimes we may feel that why so much of narrowing down, why so much of effort? Let's just do any chanting, any hearing, but Prabhupada says no. Prabhupada says all the 9 limbs of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Swaranam, Pad, Sevanam, and so on and so forth, you will find each one of them has 81 categories. Prabhupada says no. 81 categories means you can have mode of goodness, hearing, mode of goodness, mode of passion hearing, mode of ignorance hearing. Now in goodness you have goodness hearing, goodness passion hearing, goodness ignorance hearing. In passion you have passion goodness hearing, passion hearing, passion ignorance hearing. In ignorance you have ignorance goodness hearing, ignorance passion hearing, and ignorance hearing. And like that there are 81 categories Prabhupada says. So, which goes to show we have a lot to overcome and come to the platform of pure devotion. But this is not meant to discourage us. This is meant to encourage us. It depends. For a new person who comes to the temple, someone says, just give up everything, surrender to Krishna, and just chant at least 16 rounds daily, following 4 eggs. He'll be discouraged. He'll feel bhakti is so difficult, isn't it? But for a person who was attending our Bhāgavatam classes, our courses, associated with devotees regularly, taking Prashadam, for him you can expect chant 16 rounds and follow 4 eggs. For him it won't be difficult. For him it will be encouraging. So when we present Krishna consciousness according to the level of the person, then Krishna consciousness becomes easy to take up. It will be interesting. If we present Krishna consciousness to someone who is new, if you present Krishna consciousness in its purest form, don't give any practical steps to hold on to, then it can look very difficult and they might as well turn back to the material world. So therefore Kapila Muni, when he is explaining devotional service here, he did not start with this. In the entire previous chapters he is explaining about devotional service. He talked about the balance between Ashtanga Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Isn't it? He talked about deity worship. He's talked about so many other things. And now he's narrowing upon pure devotional service because Mother Devabhuti is eager to know. So therefore the price to actually practice pure devotional service is eagerness to practice, or the greed to practice it. And that is called as laulyam. This one most important aspect in a devotee's practice of devotional service can take him to this kind of pure devotion. If one is not eager to come to this platform of devotional service, this can look can do it immediately. Even us, personally speaking, not very easy to come to this platform of this standard of pure devotion. Why? Because for this, we need to develop greed to come to this platform. Greed, I want to get my devotional service to the best standard. That means we have, for example, if someone has perfected his current level of studies, if someone has understood all the undergrad level of studies, then he is eager to go to master's level. But in the master's, if one is not studying properly, in his graduate, then he is not eager to do PhD anymore. Because he feels also difficult, because he has not studied properly. But if he does his studies properly in master's level, then he wants to go to PhD. If he does PhD more, he wants to do more research. He can become a research scientist. So therefore, similarly, whatever level of practice we are doing currently, if we do it properly, with all sincerity, then there will be an increasing eagerness to go to the next level of devotional service. Isn't it? How many of you present here are eager to go to next level of your devotional service? Okay, not everyone. Okay, someone.
Only Ryan Prabhu.
Everyone. Yeah, we are all eager. That means anything, if Krishna consciousness is given to you at a little more difficult level than your current practice, then immediately you can pick it up. And you will see this in Prabhupada times. Srila Prabhupada, when he first met the hippies, he did not talk about 16 notes. You know, when did he talk about 16 notes and 4 heaven principles? After the initiation. You know this? When Prabhupada, after giving the first initiation, that until then he had not talked about the 4 A's. And after initiating them, he wrote in a piece of paper and put on the notice board. This is the expectation of initiating disciples. But because they had love for Prabhupada, they could follow. So, therefore, this section, my point was the section of Bhāgavatam is not to discourage us from our current practice of devotional service, but to encourage us to practice pure devotion. But that depends on where we stand. Ultimately, pure devotion is the platform we want to come to. So here first, in the verse is being said, Karma Nirvāra Uddishya. Karma Nirvāra Uddishya means the purpose of such a devotee whose practice of devotional service is in the mode of goodness is to destroy fruitive mentality, to overcome fruitive mentality. This is a devotee mode of goodness. Now, first of all, we want to destroy sinful reactions. Like many of us get attracted to Krishna consciousness because we find so many pure devotees, isn't it? Purity is the force, as Prabhupada said. And we find how devotees are so pure in their eating habits, so pure in their sleeping habits, so pure in their dealing with other people, so pure in their lifestyle. It becomes very attractive. Because of this, we also want to practice. We want to overcome bad habits. We want to overcome all the nonsense and contamination we have acquired from the material world. Because purity is the force. Very attractive. So, when we get attracted to this, we want to destroy not just sinful reactions, but also sinful proclivities. So, and this is very important. A devotee whose aim is purification of heart, such a devotee is a long-standing devotee. Or a devotee who is just a prasadam devotee, a devotee who is just coming here for some sort of talking and hanging around. Such devotees cannot go long until if they cannot come to the platform or this purpose of purifying the heart. So, therefore, what is most important is for devotees to come to the platform of purification of heart. Why? As Kapila mentioned in the 25th chapter, Aham Mamavimanotaihi Kama Lobhadi Virmalaihi Vitaragam Anashuddham Asukam Adukam. So basically in this verse what is saying, our heart is contaminated, our consciousness is contaminated by lust, contaminated by greed and arrogance and so on and so forth, which we all know what else is contaminated by. So because of this, Kama Lobha Malayi you are responding. Kama is something very disgusting, something which is rooting us into this material world. Because of this, the tendency to act is there. As Bhagavad Krishna says in the chapter, Nahi Krishna Ksharamapi Jagadishtati Karmakrit. Isn't that means the living entity is forced to act in this material world? On account of what? Why are we forced to act? On account of the contamination by the three modes of material nature. For example, when I was in Bangalore, I was working in a firm, in a company. Then one day, I went to the company, my manager and said, I want to quit, I want to become a monk. So next day, I didn't have to go to job. Then I was just in the ashram and I did not know what to do. I was thinking, this is the time I've been working so passionately in the material world. But now I'm in the ashram, what should I do next? I was just catching my head. So then I became, it was like an identity crisis. Why? Because artificially one cannot quit the material world. Because one's consciousness is driven by the three modes. So what is important while engaging in this material world is also important to cultivate higher taste. Higher taste for reading Śrimad Bhāgavatam. The taste we need. Taste for chanting, taste for reading Śrimad Bhāgavatam, taste for practice of Krishna consciousness, taste to please Krishna. So this taste has to be cultivated. As you cultivate this taste, then slowly material world will be left behind. And even so much so that even though we are in the material world, we will be on a transcendental platform. So then those 2 weeks when I left my job and I was in the ashram, I was feeling that I don't know what I have done. But gradually I got accustomed. But then later on when I reflected back, I understood I should cultivate a taste for Bhagavatam. Simply artificial quitting will not work. So similarly, once Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on his journey in South India, he met Purva Brahmana, if I am not wrong. And Purva Brahmana said, my dear Lord, I want to quit my family life because it's so distressful. And saying that he appealed to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But what did Lord Chaitanya say? Stay back with your family and practice Krishna consciousness. Later on, he proceeded ahead in his South Indian journey and he met Gopal Goswami, isn't it? He told the Gopal Goswami that you stay back with your family because your family, parents are pure devotees. So you stay back with them, but when the time is right, you come to Vrindavan, don't get married. For one person, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, stay back with your family, take care of your family and practice devotional service. For another person, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that you don't get married when the time is right, you come to Vrindavan. Why? 2 different instructions. Because one wanted to practice Krishna consciousness. Why? To get over the material miseries of this material world. That was his uddishya. Karma nirvana uddishya. Not pure enough. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, stay back. You are not ready for it. Why? Because you might stop engaging in the material world, but it's not sufficient for you. Then the mind is still active, it's still driven by the 3 modes. Without cultivating higher taste, we cannot quit the material world. So therefore, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Nahi kashchit kshanamapi jagatishti akarmarit. One is forced or strongly driven in the material world to act based on the 3 modes. Until that time, one will be in this material world. And therefore, we cannot immediately practice devotional service. We cannot jump. We have to dovetail our tendencies. So, you will find till the time one has good mentality, one actually cannot be peaceful, even in devotional service, isn't it? How many of you are peaceful when you are preaching? You are concerned about how many people are under me.
What?
When you are preaching, if one is concerned about how many people are under me, how many people are coming to the program, isn't it? Say you have a preaching program 100 people registered. Now in the next half an hour, the program will start. How many of you feel you will have some money? How many people will show up?
To worry?
Yeah. Isn't some anxiety will be there? Yeah. Of course, naturally we want to serve the Supreme Lord, but sometimes we also want to show I can put a big festival also. We are also anxious. When I am doing a program, there has to be many people. If only one or two people come, we are not interested to speak. Therefore, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur strongly said, even if no one comes, preach the 4 words. Why? Because Bhagavatam Katha is pure. So, even the fruitive mentality in devotional service can make the mind unrest. It cannot be peaceful in devotional service. Anxiety will be there. What if? What if this doesn't happen? What if I don't get appreciation? What if the results I'm desiring will not come? So therefore, it is said, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakalya Shanta Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Atayeva Shanta. That means, till the time we are wanting something from the material world, till the time there is some amount of desire, even desire for mukti is a desire, till then one cannot be peaceful. One has to struggle. One's mind will be anxiety ridden. So, therefore, we have to understand, till the time, even though we are practicing devotional service with fruitive mentality is not peaceful. Like once in Pune, when you was sharing that they were in India, we announced bookstores with the name of the devotee. So as they were announcing in the morning program announcement time, so as they were announcing different names, they go with the maximum number of books distributed and that person, and they end with who distributed the minimum. So this Prabhu, he had distributed the maximum for the previous day. So when he was hearing this scores being announced, he didn't hear his name. He was sitting all the way at the back, and the temple hall is like 2,000 people capacity temple hall. So he rushed through all the devotees, pushing everyone, running all the way to the person standing in front, the announcer, to tell that, I also distribute so many books for 1 hour. I think this devotee was saying, Rajan was actually saying this. So he was saying Gauranga was there, Raj himself was there. There were many senior devotees sitting there. So that time many people felt disgusted by this type of fruitive mentality. See, fruitive mentality is not attractive at all. When you feel that someone is doing for some material purpose, it loses its attraction. Isn't it? So many people did not like it. So later on, Rajan said he went to Gauranga and asked, what do you think? Do you think it was right for him to come all the way from the back and go and put his name just for some book distribution course, just for some appreciation? And Rajan said, Gauranga said something very nice. Gauranga said, see, we can still appreciate him because earlier he was counting cricket scores and now he is counting book distribution scores. So at least there is some improvement. But still at the same time, anyway, fruit mentality is there, there will be anxiety. So, therefore, karma yoga, some places in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, Prabhupada says karma yoga is bhakti yoga, buddhi yoga. In 3rd chapter, when Arjuna is asking about jnana yoga, karma, what should I do? Prabhupada says karma yoga is better, and he says karma means acting for Krishna. But that acting is also divided into 2 stages. There is sakama karma yoga and nishkama karma yoga. What is sakama karma yoga? Anyone knows? Sorry? Pious activities. So even karma kanda is pious activities. Pious activities done without any relationship to the Supreme Lord, not for Supreme Lord. It's called as karma kanda, materialistic activities. Like people go to Ganesh just before exam. Just before exam, Ganapati temple is filled, overfilled. And after exam, no one is there in Ganapati temple. Isn't it? That's karma kanda. But what is sakama karma yoga?
We have desires.
Desires, okay. Nishkama, also there is one type of desire. There is one.
Your desires to please yourself, and nishkama is when your desires to please
Krishna. Then what is pure bhakti yoga?
Wait, no.
Yeah.
So Sakam Karma Yoga is we do the work and we give something back to Krishna, like
And what
some
is Nishkama?
donation. And Nishkama is whatever happens, it's up to the will of the Supreme Lord.
What is pure bhakti?
Oh, yeah.
So therefore, sakama karma yoga means when we are doing something for Krishna. Clearly, sakama karma yoga means it's to be done for Krishna. Goal is Krishna. So Sakama Karma Yoga means one chooses the activity. For example, say I like to distribute books. I choose the activity. This is my one to do this. And what fruit I get. It can be either donation I earn through distribution or name and fame I earn. I want to keep it to myself. But he is doing something for Krishna. He is distributing Krishna books. So that is Sakama Karma Yoga, where one is attached to activity plus the fruit of activity. Nishkama Karma Yoga means one is attached to activity but not the fruits. That means one can say, Prabhu, I can only cook. If you want, I'll cook for 3 hours, but don't give me any other service. And whatever he cooks, he'll cook for the Lord. He's not attached to any appreciation for it. Pure bhakti means one will go to a guru and fall at his feet and say, my dear Guru, you give me anything, I'm ready to do. Whether it is distribution or cooking or preaching or speaking, whatever it is. That's pure devotion. So at one level is karma kanda, which is not for Krishna, completely attached. Second, higher level is Sakama Karma Yoga, where one is attached to activity and fruit of activity, but it is meant for Krishna Seva. Higher than that is attachment to activity, where one is attached to what service he will get or perform, but at the same time, fruits he is not attached. That means he will give to Krishna completely. And the highest, the pure bhakti is beyond, there is no attachment to activity nor fruit. Everything is for Krishna. So here Prabhupada says in the purport, Karmarpanam means offering fruits in sacrifice to Krishna. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur says the story, once a man was walking, a Brahmana was walking, he got some bhiksha, he was doing madhukari and he got some charity, some popcorn he got. He was walking home. So now he was holding one and his son was also there. And his son said, my dear father, probably you forgot to offer it to the Supreme Lord. He said, okay, everything will be done, no problem, don't worry. And as he was walking, one wind blew, a gust of wind blew, and the popcorn started flying away. Immediately he said, okay, Krishna Pranasam. Then we offer to Krishna. Isn't it? This is attached worker. That means attached worker is what? He wants to, if he gets the fruit, he is happy. But if the fruit is not in his hand, then he is ready to offer it. Isn't it? That means a person, if one has fruitive mentality, we hold on to the fruits and we cannot wholeheartedly serve Krishna. Therefore, this section Kapila is saying, like devotee. So therefore, to even to come to the platform of karma nirvana uddishya, to get the mentality or purpose, to overcome fruitive mentality itself is a very good platform to start with. So therefore, compared to other aspects like Abhisandhayo, Himsam, Dhamma, Masara, Meyova, this platform is not very good. Isn't it? The better than that, or even Yasha Ishwaryam, the person practicing devotional service in the mode of passion, he can look for name and fame in service. That's also not good. But higher than both of this is to practice bhakti for purpose of cleansing one's heart. Therefore, karma nirvana uddishya. Parasmin vada arpanam. Therefore, he gives all the fruits to Krishna. So, therefore, better than karma kandi is sakama karma yogi. Better than sakama karma yogi is nishkama karma yogi. And better than nishkama karma yogi is pure. So, here this verse talks about sakama karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga, you can say. Because one is ready to give up fruitive activities. You can see it's tending towards Nishkama Karma Yoga in this verse. But that is also not sufficient. Why? Because in the scriptures you will find examples like Saumya. He was a Jnani. Generally, Jnani is what they do, they want to purify the heart. And for purification of heart, sometimes they use Krishna to purify the heart. You understand this statement? Using Krishna to purify heart means sometimes we get many eatables, like we want to eat some nice gobi manchuri. Now the desire is what? To please Krishna, to eat gobi manchuri. To eat gobi manchuri, as the desire. So we may cook and we are devotees, we will offer to Krishna and then we eat. But the cooking was done with the intention not to please Krishna necessarily, but to eat gobi manchuri oneself. So then what is Krishna?
The means
A sanctifier. Sanctifier machine. Karma sanctifier machine. That means you do what you want, but put it to Krishna first so that it gets sanctified and I am in the audience. Isn't it? So therefore, such a person on this platform is not the best because he uses Krishna not to please him. He doesn't associate Krishna to please him, but he uses Krishna for his selfish purposes. So still there is a tinge of selfishness. And therefore, he is called as Pritak Bhava. So first time when I read Arjunānanda, I read 329.8, where devotional service and ignorance is mentioned. And you know the flow of that. Then I thought, okay, next passion is mentioned, and that was the thing. Then I thought goodness is the best. But no, when I saw this verse, in the verse is mentioned as Pritak Bhava. That means even a person practicing devotional service and about goodness, his interest is different. How have you understood? Like how it is different? Isn't it? Because he uses Krishna sanctifying machine, karma sanctifying machine. So, but at the same time, sattva is the best platform to begin with. Because in sattva there is consistency. In passion, we can create big thing, immediately it goes down. We cannot maintain. Maintenance happens in goodness. Creation happens in passion, maintenance happens in goodness, destruction happens in ignorance. So therefore, passion means one is oscillating between passion and ignorance. As creation, again he stops. Again he does something, he starts a new project, again it stops. Again he starts something, again it stops. Goodness means you can start something and go on day after day, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, one can do it. Like Adi Purush, when Bhakti Secretary, he does that serving prasadam, food for life in Tokyo Square Park for the last 30 years. Actually, it's of course pure devotion, but for understanding, you can see the consistency is there. That means goodness. In goodness, you can maintain consistency. Some people, they try getting up too early, at 2 o'clock. They get up for 1 week, next time they'll get up for 15 minutes before Maharati. Isn't it? Sometimes when I have trained Karthik, we would like to fast from sweets. So 1 month you fast from sweets and after that you compromise for that, compensate. You take even more. What all you will not take in Karthik month, you take with interest after Karthik. Isn't it? So this is all passion. So austerity, this is all you can say austerity is mode of passion. So like this, similarly devotional service in mode of goodness is very good platform to start with because there will be consistency. Your chanting will be consistent. Your austerity will be consistent in devotional service. Your seva will be consistent. Whatever you do, your seva to Guru, your practice, your own chanting, hearing, sadhana, everything will be consistently done. But the problem, there is still one problem. Does anyone know what's the problem? In this sattva?
It's not pure sattva.
It's not pure sattva. Therefore, when we are consistent, we are gaining, we like to study. As we study, gain some knowledge, immediately we become proud and come down. Again, then one will say, hey, they must be mine and they put my name for new lecture, they put some new devotee's name. So this is Dhamma Master Meva. Similarly, if one becomes too happy, too complacent, too comfortable, that comfort in goodness, that means his bhakti is going very nicely. He has no anxiety. So then what happens? So that comfort one comes down to complacency, which is mode of ignorance again. So passion or ignorance one comes out. So in this way, practice of devotional service in mode of goodness is not sufficient. It's a good platform to start with, but one has to gain eagerness to go to the next level, that is pure devotion. Just as you can to catch a flight and take off, you need to come to the airport. Only then you can climb into the flight and you can take off. Similarly, to come to mode of goodness is a very good thing, but you have to take off from there to pure goodness. Then it's a good thing. So, therefore, Sattva is best platform to practice devotional service at our stage. Similarly, you can find that in act of instruction, Rupa Goswami says in the first verse, of course, Rupa Goswami is writing annoying. So in Purports, Prabhupada writes, in traditionally how purification of heart happens is by tapasa brahmacharya, like that goes on. So basically, means one has to be very austere. One has to practice celibacy. One has to practice control of senses, control of self, yamin and yamin, following of rules and regulations, being charitable, cleanliness, socham. Like that, many things are there, he mentions. But Prabhupada says, this is a traditional system, how to get purified. Then later on, Prabhupada says, but if at all, by good fortune, a person meets a pure devotee in his life, everything is taken care. So similarly, we find that when we get attracted by the purity of a devotee, we get the intention, I also want to become pure. Isn't it? So we want to practice devotion service on this platform of purification of heart, which is common in our Odisha. But at the same time, because we are in touch with the pure devotee, he will not allow us to stay on that platform. See, what does preaching mean? How can you reach out Krishna consciousness to everyone? Can you go to the street and say, Krishna is the Supreme Godhead, become devotee, become devotee? No one will become devotee, not even you. That's not the way to do preaching. Preaching means making Krishna, presenting Krishna consciousness in a relevant manner. Isn't it? That means if someone is suffering, what do we say? We tell them how Krishna consciousness is a solution for your problem. It's not a stopgap solution, it's a permanent solution. When we give like that, when we present Krishna consciousness like that, immediately people will take it up. So people will come on the pretext of purification of heart, or any other lower pretext also. But because they are in touch with the pure devotee, immediately the pure devotee gives them higher goal. That is, yes, purify more. Like for example, when that Lord Shiva's devotee, he was praying so fervently, so purely to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva said, you don't ask me any benediction, go to Sanatana Goswami who is in Vrindavan. And that devotee went to Sanatana Goswami and he said, my dear Lord Shiva told me that you have something for me. I wanted gold. But because he was worshipping Lord Shiva with love, so he has directed me to you. Sanatana Goswami said, gold? Then he said, yes, Parasmani, I heard you have Parasmani. And he said, no, Parasmani, I think you will find it in that trash over there. So immediately that devotee went and he looked in the trash, got the Parasmani. But along with getting that Parasmani, he also got one more thing. What did he get? Anything else? He also got the association of Sanatana Goswami. So when he got the Parasmani and he went, in his mind he was thinking, oh, such a pure, how pure he was looking at Sanatana Goswami. And how gentle were his dealings, the way he spoke, the way he acted, the way he pointed out. So like this, when we also come in touch with pure devotee, we will, we adore his gestures, the way he speaks, isn't it? So like this, and his purity, of course, purity is the attractive force. Like this, he was always thinking of Sanatana Goswami. And later on he went to Sanatana Goswami and asked, my Sanatana Goswami, you threw the Parasmani in trash. That means you have something more valuable. Can you please give me that? He said, yes, I can give it to you, but first you have to throw away the Parasmani in Yamuna. Oh really? Now how can anyone throw the Parasmani in Yamuna? This is instruction of Sanatana Goswami. So first of all, he associated with Sanatana Goswami, he became purified. Now he was ready to accept the instruction of Sanatana Goswami. He threw the Parasmani and Sanatana Goswami instructed him on chanting of the holy name and not devotional service. So you can see, as one comes in touch with the pure devotee, immediately he starts advancing in Krishna consciousness. So therefore, preaching means you make Krishna consciousness relevant to the people, and when they come, when they start showing interest at any level, we also have to take responsibility to take them to higher and higher levels. That means first of all, we have to also give. You can only pull up a person till your stage. You cannot pull a person and put him on top of you. It's not possible. So if you are 50% in devotional service, you can pull a person to 50%. And therefore, association of pure devotees Supreme Lord, when we have great sannyasis, senior devotees visiting us, as much as possible, we have to take association. We have to say, some seva we have to do. This is the way of associating with them and climbing the ladder in devotional service. So, therefore I was saying, by coming in touch intention of karma nirvana buddhisya. I also want to ask person. But of course, if we don't, sometimes the danger we were also discussing is we will use Krishna to become pure. And what will happen later on? One will say, I am only Krishna. So this is the danger of sattva. Too much purity. I am too pure I'm too pure that I can accept anyone else as God. I am so pure that I think I am only God. So that one danger is there in sattva. So therefore one has to always keep himself under Guru. So therefore you study in Chaitanya Charitamrita in Madhya, I think 8th chapter will come. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to South India to meet Ramananda Rai. Of course, Prabhu Bhattacharya has given his, he has told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to meet Ramananda Rai because he said he is a pure devotee. So when they both meet each other, they embrace and they discuss, they say that we'll meet later today in the evening because there are too many other Brahmanas who are not qualified to understand the dealings. So later on when they met, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Ramananda Rai, please tell me something regarding the ultimate goal of life. And when he says this, immediately Ramananda Rai says, Varnashrama Charanta, that was he quotes. And he says the goal of life is to practice Varnashrama. This is to do with the ultimate goal of life. And what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says? Ehopaya Ayurveda. He says this is external. Why am I saying this? Because the purport Prabhupada writes, in the Varnashrama means what? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Mahātma, Sannyasi. This is according to psychophysical nature. So when we practice devotional service according to psychophysical nature, it is limited. What does that mean? That means one can say, Prabhu, I am a Brahmanical devotee. So give me studies where, give me seva where I can study Bhāgavatam and speak Bhāgavatam. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Aage go ahead. This is not the best. So, like this, Ramananda Rai goes on further. He was Varnashrama. He talks about Tyaga, giving up everything, renunciation. He goes about different dāsa bhakti, Vatsalya bhakti, different things, and finally he talks about prema bhakti. And that's when he says, this is perfect. This is the limit of perfection. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. And therefore, I was hearing a talk by Gauranga when he says, Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Means what? One has to give up activities and surrender to Krishna and go walk in the footsteps of the gopis, like that he says. Because the word Vraja means to walk also. Isn't it? So walk in the footsteps of the gopis, like that he says. So, therefore, if we want to practice devotional service, we have to go beyond our limitations, psychophysical nature limitations. It is practical and natural to do what we like to do, but it's not the best. As we cultivate attraction and love for a pure devotee, immediately we can serve him as he wants. And this is the platform we want to reach, even though we may not be at that platform, including me. It's easy to speak than done. So, but at the same time, we want to have developed eagerness to come to the platform of pure devotion, where we want to do things for Guru's desire. Because when we show too much interest in anything, even in devotional circles, it is many times driven by modes or mechanisms. But when we ask Guru what he wants and simply dedicate our lives to please him, then that is perfection because he is in tune with Krishna. So then we will practice the topmost bhakti, which is discussed later on in the verses. So in this verse, to summarize till now, Kapila Muni spoke about devotional service in the 3 modes, but henceforth now, later on we talk about in pure goodness or the perfect, pure devotional service. And there we will find that the devotee has no pratak bhava. Even karma nirvana uddishya, to build from one's heart, is not completely free from selfish desire. So we have 1 minute, if anyone wants to share their view or ask a question. Yes.
Question was, how do we increase our devotional service? Like you said, we get comfortable in our devotional service. So how do we increase it to transcend the 3 platforms?
Yeah. To transcend, we of course, I was saying to transcend, we need to associate with pure devotees who can uplift us. And increasing devotion service, again, when we have two kinds of senior devotees. One is mother-like senior devotee who gives care, and other one is father-like senior devotees who give us challenges in life. Both we need. Sometimes mother-like senior devotee keeps people comfortable. But sometimes father-like senior devotees, they can give challenges and push us. So both are required in devotion service for the growth of. You want to say something? So Grantha Śrimad Bhāgavatam ki?
Yeah.
Prabhupada ki?
Yeah.